Hey, I'm Felix. In 2020, I want to play lots of junior ITF tournaments. My favourite shot is my forehand cross court, especially when I really rip it into the corner. My favourite surface, this one right here, hard.
Hello, my name's Chris. I describe myself as a veteran of club tennis. My favourite shot would be a topspin lob. It doesn't very often come off, but that would be my favourite shot. My favourite surface is probably clay.
Well, these two teamed up impressively as a doubles pair as part of this series of tiebreak to 10 matches. But their friendship has to be put on hold here. Chris did admit to some concerns ahead of this clash against one of the best junior players in the country. But Felix will be well advised to take nothing for granted against a wily old fox who is the reigning veteran doubles champion at David Lloyd Hampton. Usual rules apply as to first to 10, too clear if it goes to 9-all, and special thanks to Virgin Active Chiswick Riverside for the use of their fine courts. And stand by for some important information regarding two charities that have inspired this concept. Well, that's an encouraging start for the older man. A little bit of support for him. If Felix thought he was going to have it all his own way, he's already having to think again. Bit of a loosener with his opening serve. Well, he loves to hit from the baseline. Inspired, Chris has said, by the likes of Mats Wilander and Andre Agassi, who'd like to slug it out from back there. I mentioned the two charities that are involved in this particular series. c-r-y.org.uk. Cardiac Risk in the Young helps prevent young sudden cardiac death through awareness, screening, research and supporting affected families. Oh, well, he got to the drop shot, but he left his half of the court exposed, and Felix had all the time in the world just to guide that one away for a comfortable winner. Beautifully executed. Chris showing terrific movement to get there, but there was no way he was going to get back. And Tennis for the World is a charity based in the United Kingdom that collects unwanted tennis equipment and clothing and distributes it to schools, colleges and social development projects around the world. Oh, he set himself up for that. Up the line, thank you very much indeed. Level at 2 points apiece. So do please explore those charities a little more than you have time. Fantastic worthwhile causes. And Chris gets his nose in front. Felix at the front of the court won't be happy with that. Are we going to see a major upset here, I wonder? Chris's motto, be the best you can. His favourite player is Roger Federer, who doesn't often shank a forehand like that, it has to be said. I've seen it happen though. French Open's his favourite slam. Heard him mentioning that he likes clay courts. Felix most at home on this surface. There's rule change ends every 6 points, if they remember, which they did there. Well, forced wide a little on that forehand side and couldn't quite maintain control. Chris was asked what tennis superpower he'd like. He said not to choke. No sign of that at the moment, but Felix does now have his nose in front on serve at 4-3. Yeah, you could see that coming. The forehand cross court, Felix's favourite shot, and it was teed up perfectly for him. Chris knew where it was going, but There was no way he was going to cut that one off. The young man just starting to flex his muscles a little. Well, I have to say Chris is moving really well. He's hitting the ball really well. But this was always going to be a big challenge for him. And that's what it's starting to look like now. Felix faces plenty of challenges over the next year or two. He'll move up to the under-18 bracket before long. Hopes to reach the National Tour finals at 16 and under before then. He'll look to return rather better than that if he gets there. And he mentioned, of course, that he wants to play a fair few ITF tournaments during the course of 2020 as well. Trying to get a lot of spin on the ball. But Chris needs to find an extra gear quickly here if he's to get back in business. Well, Ivan Lendl would have approved of that. He always said if you've got a target, go for it. And if that's your opponent's face, then so be it. Felix did his best to react, but as I mentioned, the friendship's got to be put on hold during the course of this one. Much as Chris likes the French Open, he does say that Wimbledon is the spiritual home of tennis. It's just being called out. Quite sure why. Well, perhaps justice prevailed. It's really interesting that you watch junior tennis in particular, the number of times players incorrectly call a serve, whether it's in or out. And there's no element of deviousness involved. It's very hard to see sometimes. So we won't hold that one against Chris. Felix, 2 points from victory. Oh, well again, Chris acquitted himself really well on both sides, but the questions kept coming, and ultimately that brings up a match point for Felix. Oh yes, he's not finished yet. Felix did perhaps leave himself a little exposed as he came in behind the return, but that's beautifully executed. Oh, he was toying with him at the end. Gave him a chance to get there. And to be fair to Chris, he did get there. It wasn't quite to be. Wonderful dynamic performance from Chris Godwin. But this time, Felix Mischker is the winner.
Well, I was quite pleased with that.
That's pretty good.
You can't be very pleased. No, it was good. It was good fun. It's good to play against someone of Felix's standard. I don't normally get balls coming at me that quick, so it was good fun.
Yeah, you did quite a good job of chasing down even the last ball. I wanted to see if you were going to chase that down, and you did. So
I did have to think about it. There was a moment where I thought I'm not going to go for that, but
did in the end.
I did, and I think I think that was the right thing to do, although it didn't come off. But no, well done. Well done.
Good.
Really good game.
Please help to spread the word by sharing this to your friends.
And also subscribe to our channel to not miss any more Tiebreak 10 battles coming up.
And why not watch our previous other Tiebreak 10 videos? Click here to watch them.